And here we are. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Change Your Life Kindle webinar. Welcome to this beautiful night that we're going to spend together. My name is Angela. I have the pleasure to be here to present to all of you this wonderful experience. Now, just to share with you a bit of the goal that we have tonight, okay, the goal with this presentation is to really understand, yes, what the Change Your Life Kindle experience is, go through all the details, of course. Also, we'd like to share a bit of what we found out during years, okay, of working with kids about their current situation. So share some thoughts, okay, to really understand also why this experience can be something helpful. So welcome again. I see the last ones are joining now. So just to give them also some time to settle up and everything, I want to anticipate that I don't want this to be a monologue where I just talk and talk and talk and that's it. But as you are going to see, I am going to look here sometimes because I have a wonderful screen with the chat open. And, the beauty of technology is that even though we're not close personally, we can really interact. So there is this wonderful tool, the chat on Zoom, which I would like us to use tonight, okay, to really share your thoughts. I'm going to be very honest with you guys, and I want you to be very honest with me as well. Okay, so let's make this seal. Let's not make this a monologue, all right? So just to start, I am curious because I know that all of you are from the UK connected, but I feel like you're from different parts of the UK, right? So where are you connecting from? I'm curious. Good evening, Laura. Thank you for joining us and welcome. I'm from London. Hi, Laura from London. Okay, I guess the majority of you will be from London. Danielle from London as well. Hi, Danielle, welcome. Okay. Melandi, Surrey, south of London. Okay, wonderful. Welcome, Melandi. Sarah from Bristol. Ifan from Leeds. Okay, Ifan, if you want to share your name as well, I'll be happy to call you by your first name. Okay, Celine from London as well. Magdalene from Manchester. Okay, up north. Wonderful. All right. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. See, it's nice when it's not just me, but we interact a bit with each other, right? So welcome everybody. Welcome John from Birmingham. Welcome again. Wonderful. So why are we here? As I was saying before, we are here to talk about Change Your Life Kindle, this wonderful experience. In the meantime, welcome Iliulaci from Liverpool. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. If you want to correct me, feel free to do so. And as we were saying, we're here to talk about Change Your Life Kindle, which is this experience that was created thanks to Filippo Rossi. Filippo Rossi is, just to spend a few words about him as well, he has dedicated more than 30 years of his life to really understand how to develop the human potential, okay? How to understand how to get the most out of ourselves. And I want to share with you a little story, okay, on how this experience, what we now call Change Your Life Kindle, was born, was created, okay? Because as it says here, for more than 20 years, he developed what we call nowadays the 3D reading method. But what is the 3D reading method? Really is a combination of the best techniques, of the best tools, methods that exist, which Filippo studied for more than 20 years, as it says here, okay, to really understand how to utilize our mind at best, to become more efficient in our learning, in our studies. And at first, once he came up with this method, with this revolutionary method, he really started teaching it to the adults. Okay, and every weekend he used to spend it basically to teach this wonderful method to the adults. But what happened? That some adults that came were also parents, and they started asking, but can you teach it to me? Can you teach it to my kids too? You know, they would benefit from it a lot. So he did. He started doing it. At a certain point, 5 years ago, actually 10 years ago now, he gathered a group of kids, and during not just a weekend, but a whole week, he passed this on. He taught this to them, to the kids. And, you know, it was a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week, sorry. And at the end, the feedbacks, what Filippo really saw, the change in the kids, okay, in just 1 week with the power of acquiring this tool, but really understanding what their true potential is, as we were saying before, it moved Filippo a lot. Okay, it had a huge impact on the kids, and just he couldn't ignore it. Okay, from that moment when he saw the change in those kids, he decided that he was going to dedicate his whole life to this, to passing this knowledge, these tools to everybody, to adults, to children, to whoever, you know, wants to really improve themselves. And so 10 years later, we call this experience Change Your Life Kindle. And in the meantime, he has been teaching this to more than 10,000 adults and children. Okay, so he has impacted the lives of a lot of people. And among these 10,000 people, there's also me. Okay, my name is Angela, as I was saying before. And I was lucky enough to encounter this opportunity 5 years ago now. Okay, I attended actually the adult program because I was a bit too old for the kids one. Okay, however, you know, I had this need as well, because I was in uni, okay, to find a method that would help me study, which it did. Okay, I was able to graduate university while working actually more than 8 hours a day. So I wasn't attending the lessons. I used to prepare my exams in 1/5 of the time that my classmates used to take. And I graduated with no problems, on time. So everything went great, with top marks as well. Not because I was smart, but because I had a great tool. Okay. But I have to say that the impact that it had on me personally was stronger than the one it had on me academically. And that is the reason why, after I have decided to also participate as a staff member to the Experience for Kids, I saw the same change that this experience had on me. I saw it on a group of 50 kids. And I saw the future. I don't know, I saw a huge possibility for everybody. And I decided as well to do this for the rest of my life. This became my purpose. Okay, so that is the reason why I'm here, and I have the pleasure to present the night. So as I was saying before, I don't want this to be just a monologue where I just talk and talk and talk, but I want it to be interactive. So I am going to shut up for a few seconds because it's you guys' turn. Now, don't be shy, okay? Share, like, why did you guys decide to be here? Why, what are you looking for? What is your purpose, okay, for being here? Don't need to write a poem, just, you know, a few words to understand what is your goal. Now, in the meantime, I see we have Becky from Gloucester. Welcome, Becky. We have Rudolph from Lana from Northampton. Welcome. And Galina from Worcestershire. Welcome. Welcome, Galina. Welcome, everybody. And again, thank you for sharing. Now, while you type, I know it takes a bit more than just writing the city you're from. Okay. Okay, here we are. Some very quick typers. Perfect. We have Melandi who said help with time management. Okay, wonderful. We have Laura who said I would like my child to improve his focus and time management as well. We got 2 time management. Perfect. That must be a topic that we're going to cover later then. Absolutely. Danielle, my son, 15 years old. Okay, so a teenager, it's prime years. is brilliant, I'm sure, but lacks real motivation. Okay. He doesn't understand how important studying is, and he can't stay focused. Well, Danielle, first of all, thank you for your openness. Thank you for sharing. Then this is actually a topic that we're going to cover real soon together. And thank you for sharing it, because we're going to see after how we can work with that and why it is fundamental to work on that motivation that you mentioned. So welcome, and you're in the right place, and thank you for sharing. Laura, also self-confidence. Okay, another topic that a lot of people, a lot of kids are looking to improve, absolutely. Then we have Becky, I'm hoping my daughter can improve focus and time management skills. Okay, we got great time management. Wonderful, guys. I see Lana replied to Danielle, same reason as my 16-year-old. Okay. Again, Lana, we're going to see that later today. So absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Laura, it breaks my heart to see he feels less than what he truly is just because he deals with dyslexia. Okay. Actually, that is another thing we will look at later. Okay, the dyslexia, the ADHD topic and all of that. And thank you for sharing, Laura. I understand it may be something not easy to deal with. So absolutely, we're gonna find a way later today, no worries. Magdalena, I want my son to make a better use of his time, smart, but doesn't spend his time studying. Okay. Wonderful. And Sarah, I would like him to understand how important it is to ask questions, not fear of asking. Oh, wonderful, Sarah. Thank you for sharing. And yes, absolutely. No fear of asking. That is fundamental. It's a skill, I want to say, that that you need to develop. You can't be afraid, of asking. So absolutely, we'll cover that as well together. Then we have Galina, who says, my daughter is 12 years old. Okay, I would like her to love reading books and hope this method would help her excel in the future. Absolutely. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome. Thank you for sharing. I'm so excited. You're very active and I love it. Let's keep it up. Absolutely. And well, now that we have our purpose, we know why we are here. Now, what is the biggest difficulty that your child, that your daughter, that your son is facing at this point of their life? Now, some of you already shared it, like Laura said that probably she wants her son to work on self-confidence because of the dyslexia. So I guess that is a big difficulty, Laura. So thank you for already sharing it. Now, if anything else comes to mind, lack of motivation, as Lana and Danielle were saying before, that is definitely a difficulty. But why do you think that they lack motivation? Your kids lack motivation? Danielle says focus and motivation. Here it is. Okay. Becky, low self-esteem. Okay. That is something that we're going to cover as well later. So thank you for sharing. Melandi, overwhelming amount of work and not knowing where to start. Planning a session and using time wisely. Okay, wonderful. So a lot of work, a lot of responsibilities. Okay, not having the direction, not knowing where to start. Okay, okay. Well, Laura, I think one of his difficulties is worrying too much about what his peers say. Okay. Yeah, okay, so that we go into the judgment topic that once again is something we will face later today, later this evening. So make sure you stay connected because it's something we're going to talk about. It's one of the main topics as well. So again, thank you. Thank you guys for sharing. Now, another question I want to ask is, at this point, how would you like to see your kids? How would you like to see your child? Like, if you had to imagine, like, the best version of your child, how would it be? What is the most beautiful change that you would like to see in them, in him or her? Okay, in your daughter and your son. Now, Sarah said, in the meantime, fear of not being accepted by the class and the teachers. Okay. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing as well. Absolutely. Okay. So this is one of my favorite questions because I always love the perspective from the parents, you know. Laura, for example, says, I would like to see him happy, clear ideas about his goals, not wasting time. Okay, wonderful, Laura. Melandi, realizing and living up to his potential. All right, yes, absolutely. Magdalene, spending his time studying and not on the phone playing games. Okay, so using time wisely. All right, wonderful. Wow, it's amazing. Thank you guys for sharing so much. Danielle says to learn new cultures. Oh wow, I become ambitious. Okay. Galina, I would like to see my daughter get motivated to read books. Okay, so that motivation topic is a big one tonight. Okay, wonderful. Sarah, happy to learn from who knows more than him. Okay. Amazing. So always like a lot, lifelong learner, as they say. Okay, wonderful. Okay, guys, wow, this is amazing. Again, thank you for sharing. Let's keep it up for the night. Okay. Madina says time management. So you'd like to see your son, your daughter, I don't know, be able to manage their time wisely. Wonderful. Okay. Absolutely. Well, now let's see. Let's dig a bit deeper and ask ourselves, what does it take for a child to achieve all of this? And we actually found that there are three main ingredients that are fundamental to be able to achieve everything that you guys have mentioned. Okay, they may seem even a bit trivial, okay, common, but trust me, they are not. And let's look at them together, just an overview, then we'll take one at a time, because the first one is where you are. So have a clear idea of what your situation, what point, what stage of life you find yourself in. Then where you want to go, so what direction you want to pick, and the tools. What tools you want to utilize there. You need to have the tools to be able to get where you want to go. Okay. Now, let's start with the first one. So understanding where you are. What does it mean? Understanding how you work, how you function, what your potential is, what your talents are. Okay. So your limits, your passions. So understanding really your current situation, I want to say. All right. And unfortunately, I want to say a lot of kids that we meet, because we talk with thousands of people each year, of kids especially each year, okay? And they tell us this huge word, the judgment, that they feel judged. I remember Sarah was saying before that her son or daughter doesn't feel like they are accepted by their peers and their teachers, for example. So really the judgment takes a toll on a lot of kids often, okay? And that influences, okay, the perception of the kids, of who they are, what their potential is. So they don't realize it because it's influenced by the judgment of the surrounding environment and also of themselves. All right. Then the second pillar, as we were saying, is where you want to go. So what direction you want to pick? What is your objective? And that is fundamental. What do you want to do when you grow up? That is the question that a lot of times is asked kind of like a joke to kids. But it's actually one of the most important questions, and it needs to be taken very seriously because that orients everything that you do. The problem of kids nowadays is that they are not taught this. They are not taught to pick a direction, pick a goal, set a goal, and orient everything. And that goal doesn't need to remain the same, okay, all throughout their lives. It's going to change 1,000 times, but it is fundamental to have a goal because then everything will make sense, okay? As we were saying before, I remember Danielle and Lena saying that The kids don't have the motivation. Well, maybe it's because they don't know where they're going. Okay, let me know if I'm getting to you, if it's something that you resonate with. Feel free to drop a yes in the chat if this is the case. Okay, just to understand again, because this is what we found. Okay, after years of working with thousands of kids, and the third fundamental ingredient, the third fundamental pillar. Okay, see Laura, yes, Magdalene, yes, Sarah, and Becky. Thank you. Okay, so we're on the same page. Perfect. It is tools. So you know where you are, you know where you want to go. You need to know how to get there. Okay, you need to have the tools, the techniques that will allow you to go where you want to go. And at this point, I have to say that we're talking about kids. Okay, I'm talking about kids, so from 10 to 17 years old, more or less. And this day and age, the fundamental tool is study method, because their life is made primarily of school, okay, of academics, and they need to have the study method, because the problem is that even at school, for example, they are taught the what, they are told what to do, but not how to do it. And that is a huge lack that the school system has. The teachers will be like, tomorrow we have a test, study from page 20 to 30. Okay, but they don't tell you how. Okay, they never give you that technique, that tool that will allow you to really make the most out of yourself and out of what you're experiencing. Okay, and I have to be honest that knowledge in 2025, especially for kids who are growing up, and it's the perfect day, age, sorry, to study, to learn new things, and to get knowledgeable. They need to have a method that will allow them to do this, because if you don't have knowledge in 2025, it's going to be hard, because people can do what they want to, okay, with you. And I don't mean to sound harsh or anything, but it is the way it is, okay? So knowledge is power, okay? It's renowned. So at this point, thank you, Melanji, for agreeing as well. Okay, and these are the three main ingredients, okay, that we need. Okay, however, what we found is that 95% of kids and adults as well don't have all three of them. Actually, in the majority of cases, there's always two, but there's always one missing. Always one missing. And what happens? Well, let's pretend, for example, that there's a kid who knows who they are. Okay, they are self-aware. They know what they're worth. They know their potential, their limits. Okay, they know where they want to go, so they have the direction, that orientation, but they lack the tools. They don't know how to get there. Those are the kids, people who live with dreams, who have wonderful dreams, wonderful goals, but they will remain dreams because they don't know how to get there. What happens? That you get frustrated because you may even invest a lot of time, a lot of your energy in trying to achieve your goals, but if you don't know how to get there, if you don't have the means to get there, then you're just going to be frustrated because you don't get the results. It's typical of those kids that have a lot of things to study. Maybe they know what they want to do. They know that they want to become doctors, for example, so they spend even hours, okay, on their books because they don't have a clear way of studying, and they find themselves disorganized. Okay, they spend half of their life on books, but without getting the results. Okay, and it's a vicious circle, of course. Then it may happen that you know where you want to go. You have that direction. Okay, you have that goal. You know where you're going. You have the tools, but you don't know who you are. You don't know what your actual situation is. You lack that self-awareness of what your potential really is. And what are the consequences to this? that you lack the self-esteem, that you lack the confidence. I don't know if any of you resonate with what I'm saying, if you see your kids in any of these categories, like the one where we just talked about, the one we're talking about now. But the thing is that they don't have the self-esteem, these kids. They don't know what they're worth, okay? Because they are going to, yeah, they don't have that awareness, okay, the self-knowledge. And this can either turn into, I don't have self-esteem, I don't know what I'm worth, and a lot of insecurities, a lot of that imposter syndrome, okay? Or the other way around. So maybe you think you are much more than what you think you are, okay? So you have that delusion of omnipotence, okay? And you think you're much more, but the reality is that you don't have an objective viewpoint of what your situation is. And it's hard to get by. Well, there's the third category, okay, where we have the tools, we know what we are, we know what we're worth, but we don't know where to go. We don't have a direction, we don't have a purpose. The kids don't have a purpose, okay? And these are the typical kids that teachers define as, yes, they are smart, but they don't put into practice, they don't apply their intelligence, okay? And as a lot of you said before, okay, I remember Lana talking about this. I remember Laura as well talking about this, a lot of you mentioned that lack of motivation. Lack of motivation because you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. So how can you have the fuel that allows you to really put into practice the tools that you have? Okay, and it is the case of those kids, for example, who live just like their friends, their people who surround them live, because they just live by inertia, based on what the others do, because they don't have a direction of their own. And here I want to say a little something regarding the importance of the environment that you surround yourself in. Okay, because if you have a stimulating environment, then everything is great. But if the environment is not the best one for you, then you're just going to live just like others live, okay, without knowing what you want to do. And at this point, I want to say that it is fundamental, okay, as you have understood. I hope I was able to convey the message. Let me know if we're still on the same page. Okay, drop either a yes in the chat or give me a feedback. But the idea is that, like, the question now becomes, what happens when you're able to have all these three ingredients, all these three pillars? And it is fundamental for parents, for you guys as parents, to stimulate your kids to develop all three of these, because without just one of them, we just saw what the consequences are. Okay, there's a huge gap without even just one. Okay, Salma, Laura, Magdalene, and Sarah even says, sounds like my kid. Okay, Becky, true, absolutely. Okay, so we're on the same page. Now, what happens when we're able to give the kids all of this? How are these kids? Well, they're motivated, first of all. They find that motivation, that interest, because they know what they're doing. Okay, they have the purpose, that direction. Therefore, they set goals and they know how to achieve them. Okay, because they have the tools that will allow you to allow them to achieve those goals. They have that determination, that self-confidence, that self-esteem, because they know what their potential is. They know what they're capable of. And at the same time, they're going to know what talents they need to develop, or what talents they already have. Okay, so they can improve. All right. And another fundamental thing is that they're going to know how to use the tools at their disposal. In 2025, we live in a world surrounded by technology, which has its pros and cons, like always. Okay, but if you know what your tools are and how to utilize them, then you are going to have a smart use of those tools, okay, like smartphones, like computers, okay, and you're not going to be a victim, okay, of technology, as unfortunately a lot of kids are nowadays. Melanie says, makes sense. Thank you for agreeing as well. Okay. And then, of course, you're going to be able to, these kids are going to be able to build those healthy, stimulating, intelligent relationships. Okay. So surround themselves in the environment that is useful for them, with people who are useful for them as well. Okay. And this is a cycle that keeps on going, because with one of these ingredients, there can be all the others. All right. And now, it's a question, that a lot of people ask, like, is this really possible? Well, there is a saying from Leonardo da Vinci, okay, who was definitely a genius of his time. And I love the saying because he says, for easy things, for simple things, it's simple because, it's simple to achieve them. It's simple to do them. So you just do them. Regarding hard things, well, you may have to put in that little extra effort, okay? But eventually you end up doing it. It's possible, okay? It takes just maybe a bit more effort. For regarding impossible things, you don't need to worry, because it's just a matter of time. So I love it because the word impossible, personally, I decided to delete it from my vocabulary. Okay. And at this point, I am the one, sharing this experience, this possibility with all of you. But I would like to listen directly to Fatima and Kat, who we have the pleasure to have here with us tonight, who are, well, mom and daughter. Kat is the the daughter, and Fatima the mom. Now let me find you guys. So we have the pleasure of having them with us. And I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Okay. So second, the beauty of, being live. Where are you guys? Here they are. Oh, okay. Oh, hi, I see you. What? Okay, wonderful. Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, how are you doing?
We're very good. Thank you for having us. It was actually really interesting listening to you, Angela, because I had never seen the judgment triangle, and it was a very neat way of basically putting into a graph what our thought process was when we engaged with Change Your Life. Because Catriona here, we felt I would love to say that she had two of them and didn't have one, but it actually was that there were glimmers of each one of those elements, but there was no real strong sense in her of any of the three. So we as parents were very much at a loss as to how to help with that process. It was very clear that she was in a system where she wasn't getting the tools to help her realize who she was, the tools to help her also define where she wanted to go to, and the tools to help her achieve whatever it was that she wanted to achieve. So I had been looking for summer courses, but I wanted something that wasn't just a regular type of summer course where you just go and you play and you have fun. I wanted something which would also be an opportunity for her to learn something beyond what you learn through play. So your advert popped up in social media for us, and I was a bit skeptical because I thought this is the algorithm pushing something my way simply because of what I have been trying to look for. But it kept coming up. So I took notice, and I decided to engage. It wasn't yourself at the time; it was Diana, and we started having long discussions. And I found it very, very refreshing that she was very open, she was very direct, but she seemed to speak the same language that we spoke, in the sense that it's almost as if she had been there herself. She understood exactly where we were at in the journey that Catriona was at. And say that again. And it just I to be honest with you, she was only 12 when she attended her course. For us, it was a little bit of a concern because obviously she's a girl. She was going away to a foreign country on her own, and it was almost, particularly for her dad, difficult to let her go for a week because of the natural concerns that you have with a girl. So speaking to you guys was incredibly reassuring. And ultimately, we decided, after what we've learned, there's always an element of risk, to be honest with you. You just kind of have to have some trust from what you learn from the person that you're interacting with. But we thought, okay, how much risk is there really in this? There's only 1 week. How much can she learn from this, and how much can she get out of this process vis-a-vis the risk? So we weighed it up, and we felt that what she could get out of the experience was far greater than any niggling doubt that maybe we'd had at the beginning, and that Diana had actually managed to reassure us on. Because, as I say, you guys were very, very open. You quickly got back with information. You quickly gave us reassurances. If you didn't know, you would say, good question, let me find out. And we felt that by letting Catriona go, she wouldn't be on her own. There would always be adult eyes that would be overseeing what she was doing without necessarily being intrusive. Because what we learned afterwards was that the experience really is a lot about self-awareness. And then one thing leads to another, because the method that you teach them gives them a confidence that feeds into that self-awareness, and again feeds, if you want, back into the tool, the method. It's almost as if it becomes a self-fulfilling circle that constantly feeds itself. And when I saw your triangle, then there's the third element, which is the direction. I mean, at 12 years old, it's very difficult for the child to know where they want to head for or where they don't want to head for. So that vision of direction, maybe it's just my daughter, but she didn't have that. And it's something that we're still, well, I'm sure she's still working on. But what she has gained tremendously on has been the self-awareness, the self-acceptance, and she has learned a lot from the tool as well, because the tool has given her a confidence in what she knows and how she knows it that she maybe lacked before. And interestingly as well, the tool, I'm not going to say that the tool is easy. Yeah, the tool requires application. I mean, the child will come back after a week, and the high and the transformation for us was like night and day. But the method requires practice, because we have got long established, I would say, pathways in our brain that have been formatted in a certain way that require to be unformatted. For the kids, that's very easy, but it does require some practice. So she found that by applying the method, she actually had more free time to dedicate to the sort of things that she had more of an interest in as well. So it made the whole study aspect a lot more efficient. The schooling subjects are not necessarily the subjects that she has an enjoyment of. Not all of them. Some of them it is, but some of them are not. But she knows now that with the tools that she has, this is a process that she has to go through. So with the tools that she has, she ticks the box of the process, and she ticks it very, very successfully. It's not that she just ticks it and manages to kind of how would you say it? to struggle through. No, she takes it, and she takes it successfully. And she can concentrate on those subjects that she really enjoys, where she goes in a lot more depth than what she would normally do for the curriculum. The other thing that we noticed as well was her self-confidence. Her self-confidence grew enormously because she was a child that was used to being around older people, if you want, and therefore was used to conversations and was used to expressing opinions and was used to having different topics of conversation. And that didn't necessarily sit well with her peers at school. So there was an element of feeling a little bit of an outcast, and that also weakened her self-confidence. But at Change Your Life, I don't know how you do it, but you create an environment where the kids don't feel judged, and the kids actually sense that from the moment go. Actually, I don't know how you do it, but they do. And she felt that she was surrounded by like-minded people who were not going to be judging her, and that was huge in the transformation of her self-awareness and her confidence. But maybe I have said quite a lot already, and she should maybe tell us her perspective.
Thank you, Fatima.
So like my mum said, when I went on the Change Your Life, I wasn't a very happy person, and I just didn't know what to do anymore. And then I went on the Change Your Life, and like my mum said, no one judged me, and that made me feel really confident in myself because I felt like, oh yeah, I finally have friends, and because no one judged me, it was really great. And then I came back to school and I realized it wasn't me that was the problem. It was like the people in my year who didn't really like me as a person. It's fine, but now I'm like more confident in myself, and like that's all thanks to Change Your Life.
Method.
And the method is really good. It's like really useful. Like my mum said, I like the academic subjects at school, like maths and English, but I prefer art, drama, and music. So I get to focus on those by using the method because I can get maths and English out the way really quick, and I get really good test results. But I get to spend really long time on art and drama and music, which is really fun, and I really like it.
Would you say, Kat, is like the I don't know, the thing you like the most? Because you came back as staff also, little spoiler. We're gonna see how that is possible as well. But like, why did you decide to come back? What's the biggest takeaway you had?
So when I went to Change Your Life, I didn't want to be there at first. I just wanted to go straight home. Like the plane landed and I was like, I want to go home. And all the staff there, some of them were like my age, and they were really kind and really helpful, and they really helped me settle in. And at the end of the week, I started crying because I didn't want to go home. And I wanted to be there as staff for people who also didn't feel really comfortable at first. So just wanted to go back and help people.
Thank you.
As the mom, I have to say that is part of the journey as well, because it's actually really rewarding to see somebody at the age of 12 actually feel that they want to share what they have learned with others that might be in exactly the same situation. It sounds strange because we're not used to empowering kids who are 12 or 13 or 14 or 15. They're always being led rather than being given an opportunity to be part of a really rewarding experience. So for us, as we watched her, and she was very reluctant. I mean, she said, as soon as she came back, she said, I want to go back as staff. But she said, but I need to pass an exam. And we said, oh, okay, well, when you're ready. And the opportunity came up a couple of months later, 6 weeks later. And I said, look, they've got a weekend course. And if you pass the exam, you can become staff. But there's absolutely, and she said, I'm not sure I'm ready, the exam, this and that. So I spoke to you guys. I remember speaking to Mattia. And Matthias said, look, the exam is not like our standard type of exams that kids are used to. The exam is really just to see how comfortable she is with the method and whether she's applying it correctly or not. And it's more than anything else, again, to give her confidence on the method itself. So if she doesn't pass, let's say that in inverted commas, it really isn't a big deal. We can still continue to work together, because that's another thing that the course offers. The support from the tutors is like next to none, because they are, I understand that they're teaching other courses and whatever, but when a message goes out from the kids, it normally tends to be kid driven, because the whole thing is about trying to empower the kids to be in control of their journey. Normally it tends to be the kids that send a message out, and the message gets responded to and dealt with straight away, or within a couple of hours. It's really not an issue. But it's also very, for me at least as a parent, it's very reassuring to know that I can do the same. I can actually contact the tutors in the background without necessarily my daughter knowing, and express some concern, and I know that they will address the concern, but address it directly with the child without the child realizing that it has been raised by the parent, if you see what I mean. Sometimes the tutor route is a lot more effective than the parent route. So having that support when it comes to the method was also very, very reassuring. But the reason why I'm saying this is because you never really think about 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, and 14-year-olds being given that, let's say, responsibility. So she went on the course and she was convinced. She said, okay, I said to her, look, now that you've been home for a few weeks, it's very different. What I felt, at least when I was a student, is very different to learn something in a classroom environment and to then go back into your life setting and with your constraints, with the way that things happen within your life setting, and to apply what you have learned in the classroom, so to speak, in terms of the method. So now that you've had 6 weeks in your own classroom environment, maybe you'll have questions about how you apply the method, or I'm doing this in this particular way. Should I maybe be doing it in a different way? It's a completely different interaction with the team at Change Your Life. So I managed to convince her to go, and off she went. And she said, but I'm not taking the exam. And I said, okay, you're not taking the exam. That's not a problem. Off you go. So I didn't really hear from her. It's quite interesting, because whenever she disappears into the world of Change Your Life, you just don't hear from her. So she disappeared into the world of Change Your Life. And on the Sunday morning, she sent me a message and she said, I'm taking the exam. So I wrote back and I said, well done. Hope it goes well.
Well,
and she took the exam and she became staff. That, again, it's incredibly self-fulfilling. She's putting back into the pot. She's helping other kids as well. And that really does feed into the self-confidence aspect of things. She's a lot more grounded. She's a lot more mature. And she's starting to get a very clear view of where she wants to go to. So it's been, for us, I have to say, excuse me, it has been a very, very positive experience. As she said, when she started off, after she landed in Italy, she called us and she was like, she was in tears and she was like, please stay on the phone for a little bit longer. This is a bit hard. Please, everybody's really nice, but please stay on the phone a little bit longer. And I said, look, I'm here for as long as you want. And she was like, okay, please. And suddenly she said, oh, they're just calling us for I don't know if it was dinner or you had a dinner meeting or something. So she said, I have to go now. I'll call you in the morning. And I said, sure, call me whenever. It's not a problem. Call me whenever. And the morning came and I just got a message saying, I'm just going off to my meditation and I'll call you later. But okay, I thought, okay, fine. This is a good sign. And that was it. I didn't hear from her again. And my husband was like, maybe we should check in. Maybe we should send her a message. Maybe we should. I said, no, because we're only going to disrupt her. It's a really good sign if she's not in touch. And in fact, we could see her every evening, because you do some amazing videos at the end of the day that you then share with the parents. And if you're anything like me, you'll actually be stopping the screen and opening up the image to see if you can see your daughter in the background, to try and assess, is she happy? Is she looking happy? Is she not looking happy? You know, because you don't hear from them. It's like suddenly you've gone from, I don't know if I can do this, to suddenly, that's it. You don't hear from them. They're so busy, they're so engaged that they don't, this might be hard to hear as a parent, they don't really need you, because they're very comfortable. And yeah, this is why I say, I don't know how you create that environment, but it's transformational. It really is transformational. So Catriona Cat, as she's known to the Change Your Life family, has been back as staff twice, and she's going back this summer as staff as well. So yeah, she's going to Spain this summer as staff. So she's she feels very much involved with the whole Change Your Life family, because she's also involved in another program that Change Your Life runs, that's called Onison. I don't know if you'll be touching on that today, Angela, but that's also something for the kids if they enjoy the Change of Life experience.
Exactly. There's a lot of possibilities. It's not just about a week, as Fatima and Kat said, but it's a journey. Right.
I think that's very much the word. Sorry to interrupt, Angela, but the summer camp started a journey for Catriona. Mm-hmm. And it's a journey that we are happy to support, because it's a journey that gives her the tools to find that direction and be able to actually reach her goal when she finds it. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, Kat, Fatima, thank you. Now, thank you so much, because I can say, whatever I want to say, but these are tangible results. Like, I know, for example, Kat, that you actually had some great results with the method, if I'm not mistaken, like with math in particular, right? Do I remember correctly?
Yeah. And this year again, so last October I sat like if you go to a classic English school, you know that you have like sets, and my parents are the kind of parents that are like, you need to get in top set for everything. So that was a lot of pressure for maths sets, and I used the method on the set change test, and I hate to say it, I spent a total of 5 minutes.
No, you spent more like 15 minutes, but
5 minutes, because I did the method on the pages that I needed for the set change test, and I went into the exam. I was like, oh, I don't know any of this, and then I see my pen in my hand and it's writing down the answers, and I'm like, stop, you shouldn't know that, you didn't revise. And then I'm like, oh my god, I know all this stuff, where is this coming from? And I got, I think, 98, 99, 98.5. I was very happy.
This is something that I find fascinating, because that kind of replicates itself a lot of the time. The pen has its own rhythm, so the pen carries her forward. And she says sometimes it's quite frightening, she says, because I always get into a trance and I'm writing stuff that I didn't know that I knew. I knew I had read it, but I didn't know that I knew it. And I always look at her like, okay, if it works, it works. I can't. I have to say, I found it so fascinating that I decided myself, in order to be able to understand what she was involved in and where this was leading, I decided to do the adult course, because I saw that the tools were so powerful, and I saw how she had the transformation that was occurring with her, that I was really, really keen to understand the process. And I felt that if I understood the process, I would be in a better position as well to help her along the journey. So maybe, I'm not sure if you're going to be touching upon that today, Angela, but there is an adult course as well. that might be of interest to other people.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much, Fatima, Kat. It's always nice to see you and hear your.
If anybody has any questions and you have the time, Angela, we are going to be online. So.
Oh, thank you. Okay, wonderful. So if you have any questions, type in the chat. We're going to be here. So, okay. So, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, you know, we heard some tangible results because these are things that, you know, as Kat and Fatima shared, you bring with you. It's a journey, okay, and it's wonderful, but it requires you to do to take a step out of your comfort zone. So because there's a saying that, you know, says that if you keep doing what you've always done, you keep being the same person you've always been. And if you want to change, you can't keep doing the same things. So my question for you now is, all of you, are you willing as a family, as a whole, to do something extraordinary, to do something out of the ordinary, to achieve extraordinary results and changes? Because this is what it takes. And if the answer to this question is yes, well, then it makes sense to keep going together and to really understand practically how this works, because you are just maybe one step away from the solution. Okay, maybe it's just right there, but you need to be willing to do something that requires you to step out of that comfort zone, out of the ordinary. So Magdalene says, yes, perfect. Okay. Okay. Lona, in the meantime, sorry, I might be too early to ask, do you have any packages? Okay, so yes, absolutely. Thank you guys, and yes, Sarah. Okay, guys, thank you. You're in the right place because we're gonna get practical, and I take this chance to say that we might finish a bit later. Okay, we're running a bit late, but I shouldn't take more than 15 minutes. So if you know, can stay up to 15 minutes, it's going to be worth it because we're going to get practical. Okay, because what Change Your Life Academy is these two programs that Fatima actually already mentioned, the Change Your Life Leadership, which is the program that is designed for adults, okay? So really to become the leader of your own life, okay? And the program designed for kids from 10 to 17 years old. That is what we're gonna focus on tonight. I want to take like 30 seconds to spend a few words on the adult one though, because as Fatima mentioned before, knowing what your child is going through and the things we teach to kids and adults basically are the same. Okay, the idea of getting those three pillars, okay, acquiring those three pillars is fundamental for adults as well. Because if you know how to support your kid as well, then everything will be easier. You're going through this journey together, okay? And one of the rules I want to say of a leader is that you need to lead by example. And we can't pretend a change for kids if we're not the first ones to question ourselves, to put ourselves out there and understand how we can change, how we can improve our life. And that is why we have created Change Your Life Leadership, actually. Okay, that is dedicated to adults. So now we're going to focus on the kids one, but just so you know, this is a possibility that there is, okay? And if you want us, feel free to contact us and understand a bit better what this is about to best support your child, okay? However, let's focus on the kids program. The whole journey actually lasts 1 month. Becky says, so true. Perfect. Thank you for agreeing. Okay. The whole journey lasts 1 month. Okay. Because as Fatima also mentioned before, you need to practice. So the whole journey actually is a month long. Okay. And it starts with this study holiday. Okay. With this 7-day study holiday, where there are 3 important rules. Okay. And the very first rule is respect for the environment. I'm going to share it later. You're going to see where we have this experience. It's a place surrounded by nature. It's beautiful. And one of the rules is really respect for the environment, for the place you live in. Okay. Then, of course, respect for people. For people, because if you respect others, they will respect you back, of course. So it is fundamental to respect everybody you live with, you share anything with. And the third one is no judgment. Kat and Fatima mentioned this topic quite a lot, and this is really one of the fundamental rules, because as we said also at the beginning, as Sarah said, that I remember Sarah mentioning this as well before, the judgment is a huge weight on today's society, today's kids especially, and you need to get rid of it to really feel free. And that's one of the things we focus on, okay? So how do we really work on all these categories? So on the first 2 days, as I said, this starts with a 6-day study holiday, okay? And on the first 2 days, we're going to focus on who we are, where we are. So we're going to understand how we function. We're going to explain to kids what their actual potential is, what their limits are, start to understand together what their passions are, okay, to really understand how they function. And we're going to see, how our mind, how we can utilize our mind the best way possible. To then jump into day 3 and 4, where we are going to understand how to orient. What is our purpose? We're going to ask the kids a lot, what do you want to do when you grow up? Who do you want to be? Okay, and we're going to work on the topic, for example, of freedom. Okay, so what does freedom really mean? Okay, what do you want to be in the future? Okay, and then we're going to see the tools, okay, that we need in order to achieve all the things. So on day 4, 5, and 6, actually, we're going to really understand how to apply the method. It's going to get practical. So what is the method that will allow you to reach your goals? In this case, we're talking primarily about the 3D reading method, okay, to develop the knowledge that you need. And this is during the last 2 days, okay? And of course, the consolidation process for the 4 weeks, as I was saying before, the whole program lasts a month, starting with a study holiday, and then having to practice about half an hour a day, okay, for the following 4 weeks of the course. Now, after the 3 days, of course, what is the after the week, sorry, what is the program? Okay, what does it entail? Okay, in total, we're going to see really what the 3-dimensional reading is. Okay, so in depth understand how it works, why it works, how to apply it. Okay, we're going to we have values. We're going to see how to live with values like respect, like collaboration, like friendship. Okay, as long along with rules like judgment, freedom, order, and cleanliness, because we're going to understand. We're going to teach the kids that order on the outside is order on the inside as well. And that is fundamental. We're going to do a lot of games and fun. It's a study holiday, okay? And the holiday part is very important as well. So we're going to play a lot of games. We're going to do many activities, many workshops. And as Kat actually spoiled us a bit before, there's going to be a staff made both of adults and kids. Because kids, after the experience, have the possibility, after they live it themselves for the first time, have the possibility to come back and participate, to support the kids, the new kids that are going to come, and really understand how they can share, okay, with the new kids, what their change was, what they, what they've experienced, okay. Just like Kat, a lot of hundreds of other kids are doing it, okay, both in Italy and in Spain, because actually, just to take a look at what a typical day looks like, for example, Fatima mentioned this before, we're going to start off our day with some breathing exercises of Qigong, okay, and the meditation of presence, which is a practice that allows you to develop that focus, that willpower, that allows you to not get distracted, to not scatter your energy, but really convey it. And it's going to help us a lot with the study method as well, okay, along with the breathing exercises, because the oxygen, okay, is fundamental. The breathing is fundamental. Then depending on the day, we're gonna either go directly to class, so do some studies after breakfast, of course. We're going to study together. We're going to do a lot of breaks with games and a lot of fun. Okay, then we're going to alternate study times with activities, with workshops. Like you can see right now, there's going to be a day dedicated to cooking, little spoiler, and we have Italian cuisine, so it's chef's kiss, I want to say. And then we're going to end the day with some evening events. Every evening has a different topic. Okay, for example, we have the talent show, as you can see here. We have game night, we have movie night. Okay, we have a lot of typical activities. And so one of the fundamental parts that actually Fatima also mentioned before is the tutoring, because after the week, it's not over, actually. It's time to practice at home, okay? And we are always going to be there for you, for your kids, because every kid is different. Everyone has a different need, okay? Everybody needs to work on different things. We're going to apply everything together during the week, but they need to bring it home with them. And that is why we offer one-to-one unlimited personalized sessions, tutoring sessions, because we want to make sure that your kid, that your child really achieves their goals. Okay. For example, there will be the possibility if your kids need to prepare for JCSEs to do it together with a tutor, because this is something unlimited. As long as you guys need us, we are here and really stand by this promise. Okay. And actually, during the 4 weeks, you'll also have access to the online portal, which is this app. Actually, it's also on the phone with all the resources, all the materials. The 4-week consolidation process path is going to be laid out perfectly. We have some video recorded by our teachers directly. So you will be accompanied every step of the way, in every way. So how to participate at Change Your Life? Well, first of all, we are in Italy at Il Borgo del Monte Antico in Barzi, which is a little town about a couple of hours away from Milan. Okay, there is the video now. Won't see the whole video together, but as you can see, we are surrounded by nature. Okay, so we were nature. And this is the lovely place where we have the study holiday, okay, the residential study holiday. Now, I recommend you really go on the website and take a look at it, the full video, because it's really good. Here is where we have both based indoors and outdoors, of course, or indoors and outdoors activities. Okay, so this is where the experience will take place. And what are the dates? What are the upcoming dates? Well, we have August that is completely full. We have reserved that last week of August for kids, for the international edition. And it's going to be from the 25th to the 31st of August. That is the upcoming edition that we have. We have only 5 spots left because, as I was saying before, we have a limit of 50 kids in total that we can have, because we need to also have a balanced group so that everybody has peers and, you know, everything is balanced. Okay. And this is the upcoming program that we have available. Okay. And then we have another edition where we have 8 spots left. That is during the October half term, from the 27th of October to the 2nd of November. And actually, just to let you know a couple of details, we're going to leave all together from London, okay, from one of the London airports on the Monday, and we're going to be back on Sunday. So the experience will actually start on a Monday with a trip, okay, where we're going to fly all together. So you'll be accompanied, your kids will be accompanied every step of the way, okay. So just to recap real quick, what does the study holiday include? Well, the 6-day study holiday, okay, actually 7 days for if we need to count the Monday, the trip, okay. So from Monday through Sunday, during the study holiday, the 12 books in 1 month program, which is a consolidation process, the challenge of 21 books in 21 days, which is something to really enhance, to master, okay, the method, the 6 to 8 week foreign language program, because the kids are going to have the possibility, if they wanted, to learn a foreign language, okay? And we've developed a program that lasts from 6 to 8 weeks that will allow them to do this, to learn this foreign language, whatever foreign language they want to learn, okay? We got tutors specialized for every language, basically. And it includes, of course, the personalized tutoring sessions, okay, 1-to-1 with our mentors, with our experts, okay, and the access to that online portal. And it actually also includes the flights. Okay, flights, food and accommodation, everything is included. All right. So at this point, it's very important to mention that this is a 50-50 work that we do together. Okay, as Fatima said before, the parenting part is really important as well, because we do everything in our power. We give them all of this. Okay, we give them all the tools. We teach them what they need to do, how they function. So everything is given, but it is fundamental that you do your part too as families. Okay, so knowing what your kid is going through is fundamental. Okay, because the work is also going to be done at home with the consolidation process and beyond. Okay, so at this point, what is the final investment that will allow you to really develop these 3 ingredients that are fundamental in anybody's life, especially a kid? Well, as I was mentioning before, we try to really keep this at a balanced level, okay, so that everything could be also affordable. And the final full investment is £4,500, including flights, including everything, as we were saying, so no extra cost. However, with tonight, you have the possibility to access all of this with a reduced offer of £3,000. Okay, and if you feel ready to step on this journey, if you resonated with what we went through during the night, if you felt like this could be something useful for your kid, I see that the staff, my colleagues already put in the chat, actually the possibility to lock in your kid's space. And as it says here, there's the possibility to do it with a smaller deposit, with a £1,000 deposit. That locks in everything, the offer and the space. As we saw before, we don't have many left. And then the balance can be settled up 3 weeks before. You can pay the remaining balance before the program, okay, 3 weeks before, as it says here. So if you really feel ready to go through, to have your kids experience all of this, if you felt that something resonated with you, this is the possibility to already take that step and do that thing, that extraordinary thing. If you have any doubts of any kind, well, if you've come this far, first of all, it means we can help you, okay, if you stayed up until this point. So I'm happy about this. And we would like to have a more thorough chat with you if you have any types of doubts, any types of questions that maybe you don't feel like sharing in the chat because they are personal. Okay, no worries. Book your call. On the last link that my colleague Diana actually put in the chat is to book a call with us. We'll be more than happy to really explain thoroughly what this experience is about, maybe in a more detailed way. If you have any questions, by the way, if you have any questions that you want to share right away, feel free to type in the chat. Okay. So again, there's either the possibility to take this step right away, if you feel ready, okay, and take advantage also of this special offer, okay, or book your call. We can still, take advantage of the special offers at the moment to really understand how this experience can be the best fit for your child. Okay, so at this point, this is what I had to say. This is what I had to share. And I don't see any questions. If also, if you want to thank Fatima and Kat for being here, I deeply appreciated their sharing, because it was fundamental. It made you touch with your hands, okay, what that change is. And this is what Change Your Life Kindle is about. It's a journey, okay? Melandi, thank you. Thank you for staying. Thank you. And thank yourselves for dedicating this time, because I want to say that your kids are lucky because they have parents who really care about them and have invested more than an hour to equip them with the best tools they can for life. And if you felt that this is what you want to do, we're here. We are more than happy to welcome you with open arms, with a warm and open heart as well. And so really, I hope this was interesting. This helped you. You found something that resonated, and I look forward to talking and meeting all of you guys. I wish you a lovely